Alright, it's pretty late, but we are getting in recording for some pre-race predictions fairly late, but we're going to get it done. So, obviously, we've got the three main people that everyone's been talking about the last few races, Charles, Lando, and Max on the cover for this one. I was debating whether to include Charles within this little grouping, but you know what? He's from Monaco. I can't not include him, even though I just had him as the main guy when we are going into Italy. It's Ferrari, Italy. It makes sense. I gotta use the guy twice in a row. Anyways, let's start with our Q1. Um, Out this time, we've got the same people at the bottom: Sargent, Joe, Bottas, Albon, and Gasly. I think the only real difference I have from the previous one is I've swapped around Albon and Gasly now. So I think the Alpines are starting to improve a little bit, and the Williams seem to be kind of going in the wrong direction. Next grouping, I've got Magnussen, Ocon, Stroll, Ricardo, Sonoda. So I've actually got Stroll falling back a little bit, and I think that's really the only real swap I have in this group. Is the RB teams seem to be getting slightly better right now, and the Haas's have not been as good in qualifying as they were at the beginning of the season. Next group, I've still got Hulkenberg and Alonso squeezing through. I know those two are probably the question marks right now. You could easily swap swap in either of the RB drivers and Lance Stroll. They're all in the argument now. It's not so much a consensus top 10 anymore, which is nice. It still has basically my now top 8 are going to be predictable probably each race. Of course, we'll analyze it every single time though. And yeah, I've got Hulkenberg squeaking in. Alonso, I don't think Aston Martin have a good car right now, but if he gets that one lap pace, he can absolutely nail it. And I think after how badly he performed in Imola, I think he'll have himself a turnaround weekend. After that, I've got Piastri, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, and Verstappen. It's still, I know Perez has not been performing of late, but that Red Bull is still just a fantastic car, and traditionally around Monaco, they're just amazing. It's kind of hard to go against them still. And then I've basically got a checkerboard between the Ferraris and McLarens. I think they could really kind of go either way. Recency bias would probably favor the McLarens, but my overall statistics still slightly favoring Ferrari for now. So, and Leclerc, he's always has that one lap pace. That's what he's known for, being a bit of a Mr. Saturday. We'll happen to see if that continues or if he is still cursed at his home. And then as far as the actual race positions go, I've put them in not much position swaps once again. Basically, I've just got a few drivers swapping with each other. I think Norris could end up jumping Leclerc, especially off the start. Norris does tend to get some decent starts. I think he could get that and just hold position. Same kind of applies with Yuki. If to me, the RB teams had such bad starts last weekend that whatever issue it was, they'll had to have fixed. They aren't one of those teams who seem to lag on with the same issues. Looking at Stake there with or Sauber with all of the pit stop issues, and then at the same time, the Haas's just don't seem to have the race pace. I think they've got a fantastic car, but I just don't think the drivers are there. After that, I've got Ricardo, Stroll, Ocon. I don't think anyone's going to be really too surprised about those drivers being the guys who aren't necessarily at the bottom, but just outside of the points. I don't think that's going to really surprise anyone. And then Gasly, Magnussen. I think Magnussen will get himself into a little bit of a mix-up, probably cause himself to slow down. He's not been having a good season. He's very much in the position that I would say Schumacher was in a couple years ago, but without the crashing. That's the only thing that's going good for him, is the fact that he hasn't ruined the car. Outside of that, it's been absolutely awful. Williams have not been looking good, so I've got Albon pretty low. Joe and Bottas, still nothing really good to say about that Sauber car. And then Logan Sargent, while the Williams car isn't great, there's just nothing good to say about him as a driver right now. He's going to be losing his seat at the end of the season. He has to be, if not beforehand. And yeah, that is my predictions for the race. I've got, of course, my little pre-weekend awards. Driver of the day, I think If there ends up being a swap for a position that leads to a podium, I would have to put Lando Norris in that position based off of my predictions. Worst driver of the day, Kevin Magnussen. I think the Haas is a car that is capable of scoring points, but he is going to be not even close. And same kind of applies to why I've got Nico Hulkenberg in the under-delivered category. I think that car could score points this weekend, but I don't think he will. So the fact to even miss out on 1 or 2 points is going to be a disappointment and under-delivering on that car. And then for the driver that's going to be over-delivering, I think that Aston Martin car is not worthy right now of scoring points, but I think Fernando will find a way, especially after how bad last weekend went. I think he's going to have himself a good weekend in Monaco. And yeah, those are my predictions. Let me know what you think.